When I looked at the list of professors and business people, politicians like Sadiq Khan, who I first met when he was running for election for Tooting. He's one of 4 Muslim MPs in Parliament now. I don't know whether your 3 colleagues know that you're the only one who's been nominated for one of the awards tonight. I promise not to tell them. But Sadiq has actually done an absolutely fantastic job in providing an honest mirror to the Labour Party and to the government of the life of many, many Muslims in Britain. I think that is an outstanding thing to have done. And when I look at those achievements, I'm glad I haven't got the job of choosing the winners tonight. When I look at those achievements, they are local in almost every case, but they're also global. They embody local change, but they're also about a global perspective. And obviously that speaks to the role of the Foreign Office in the modern world. And given the controversies about foreign policy, in a world where foreign policy does come crashing into all of our living rooms through our TV screens, I just want to say a few words about that. There are important lessons from the people in this room for the Foreign Office as an organisation. Who we recruit, how we promote, how we make sure that we understand that the diversity of Britain is actually an asset for our foreign policy. Those are, if you like, the narrow lessons that come from the people and the successes in this room. But I think that there are broader lessons too, and I just want to say them because they're about foreign policy itself. We need our foreign policy to show, through deed and word, that our policies genuinely are driven by values that do not discriminate on the grounds of religion. Let me give you an unusual example. One of the most controversial things we've done in foreign policy this year is recognise the new country of Kosovo in the Western Balkans. We did not recognise Kosovo because it's an almost 100% Muslim country. But we did recognise it because it's the right thing to do, and its citizens are almost 100% Muslims. That's an important expression of the way in which we go about our values. We need to ensure that the voice of British Muslims is heard not just in Britain, but outside Britain. 2 of the most fascinating reports I've read in the last 9 months are from Muslim delegations that have been to Darfur and to Iran. British Muslims going to look at some big foreign policy problems and coming back and saying Muslim on Muslim violence in Darfur is completely unacceptable, and the repression of human rights in Iran is also completely unacceptable. We need, thirdly, to recognise and address what I have no hesitation in calling the stateless tragedy of the Palestinian people. Doing everything in our power to support a fragile political process between Israelis and Palestinians, not because the process is perfect, but because for 7 years there hasn't been a process. And the misery of Palestinians and the insecurity of Israelis has been 2 sides of the same coin and needs to be addressed through political dialogue. We need, fourthly, I think, to learn the lesson that the Muslim communities in this country, when I went to Pakistan and when I went to Bangladesh, the idea that there was a separation, that there was a world of difference between the communities here and the communities there, just it doesn't add up. We and you care about the future of Pakistan and the future of Bangladesh because it's your families and your contacts and your business partners who are in those countries. And I think the fact that in both countries we are standing up for democracy as the best ally of stability is something that we should be proud of and celebrate. And fifthly, and perhaps finally, it's very, very important to say that when we do our work as diplomats or as aid workers or through our armed forces in Afghanistan and Iraq, we are not trying to create new colonies in those countries. We are not seeking a new land for domination. We're actually seeking to empower ordinary people who are going through very difficult circumstances to turn out to vote, to run their lives, and actually to build decent societies in the face of very, very difficult odds. Let me just conclude on the following point. I think that one of the Prophet's most famous sayings is that the diversity of the Islamic faith is one of its blessings. And you can see that in this room. You can see that in the spirit of the awards tonight. And I think there's a really, really important lesson for the country in this. And that is, in the end, talking about how diversity is a strength is much, much less powerful than showing how diversity is a strength through the activities that we do together. Activities in business, activities in sport, activities in politics. Activities that in the end express our shared values and show that what unites us is far, far greater than what divides us. And if there can be a theme for Muslim news, and certainly for the Muslim News Awards, I hope that it is, whether you're a Muslim or whether you're a non-Muslim, you go away from reading the Muslim news, you go away from the award ceremony tonight, feeling that there is more that unites us than that divides us, that the values that cross religious boundaries, that cross regional boundaries, that cross racial boundaries are much, much greater than the divides between those religions and those races and those regions. And in the end, I suppose this does come down to a personal feeling as well as a political feeling. I know that my parents and grandparents were offered a unique opportunity to build their own lives in this country. I know that if this country wasn't a country that was able to celebrate what unites people across grounds of region and of religion, not just that this country wouldn't be the country that is, but actually I wouldn't be standing here tonight. So it's in that spirit of personal thanks as well as governmental and political thanks that I want to celebrate with you what's been achieved, pledge ourselves to try to achieve more, and assure you that in a world that is getting smaller and smaller and smaller by the week and certainly by the month, the Foreign Office wants to be part of building a better Britain as well as a better world. Thank you very much indeed.